Dharamjit Seema. I'm here with my colleague Kishan Lal from the Social and Education Centre in Handsworth. Legislation is one that's certainly going to be required to, particularly some of the colleagues have said from the other table, helping those who are quite vulnerable and don't always have an active voice. But I think what we're trying to do, by participation, by social cohesion, through the activities that we run, we can at least make people a lot more conscious of who we are, and that we are active citizens in the UK, and we shouldn't always not necessarily divorce ourselves what's happening outside the UK, but really try to think about sort of interfaith and multiculturalism. And I think if we can do more of that, and legislation will kind of help promote some of the discrimination that does take place. Because discrimination doesn't start at a certain age. I've heard comments from young children when they come to the centre, which sometimes are quite distressing. So age isn't the necessary forum, but what we do need, I think, is more active participation, cohesion, and if we can do it through sports, education, wellbeing programs, and serving the community, I think that's one way forward.
What was the name of your organisation again, just for?
It's the Social and Education Centre in Handsworth.
That's my town. We had some more hands up here. How are you doing, sir? Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm from Indian Workers Association and working with the Asian Rational Society. As we said already, how we can change mind. The first thing is legislation, very important, and this is not happening in only like Christian or Buddhism or this or that. It is happened through India, which is a unique place. It is 3,000 or 4,000 years ago it started. How we can change a mind? Unless we participate in every institution, every organization, every religion. And moreover, unless we participate in social functions, we can't change our minds. Anybody discrimination on caste, I will say, is a low form of human being. It is a just shame on them who are doing in that. Thank you very much.
Some strong words there.
My name is Balbir Ratu. I'm the president of the Asian Rationalist Society. What I like to say that caste system is evil. It had no relevance ever, and it has no relevance today. Guru Gobind Singh formed the Khalsa to abolish the caste system. The Khalsa is still here, and so is the discrimination based on the caste. Dalits will have to unite and fight. Dr. Ambedkar said, educate, unite, and agitate. No doubt, the Dalits are educating, they are uniting, and they are fighting. Now I will come to the Hindu Forum. The gentleman from the Hindu Forum said that there is no caste, there is no evidence to prove that there is discrimination on the basis of caste. What I want to ask is, does Hindu Forum live on a different planet? Do they have eyes? Do they have ears? Cannot they see themselves? In England, in India, all over the world, discrimination is taking place. And if they could see, if they could hear, and like the gentleman said, he would be the first one to stand and fight to bring this law about. He can see, he can hear, and he should join us to bring this legislation about. Thank you.
Wow, that's very strong words. We have to give you a chance to respond to that.
Yeah, I made these observations just based on these findings of the caste in UK, which was published by our organization, which says 92% of the respondents said there is no caste discrimination. And also the Dalit Solidarity Network's report said it's about 70% of the people, the children didn't know what their caste, which caste they belonged to. Based on this, I made this observation. Having said that, I would like to say somebody subject to caste discrimination and insults it's a very emotional thing which cannot be simply swept under the carpet. It has to, if there is an issue of such, it has to be addressed. There can't be any second opinion on that.
A question as well to a gentleman from the Hindu Forum is, what is the problem for supporting this resolution? Why are they opposing it? I mean, I understand during the, when the 70s, 80s, we fighting against racism in this country. We fought to bring laws in which gave protection to the black or the Asian community in this country. Nobody opposed it, and that protection has worked. People think twice before they commit crimes on the basis of race or whatever. We can take them to court. We can prosecute them. I don't see what the problem with this gentleman is. It's like, I'm sorry I have to say, it's like asking a racist, they will oppose the act against racism. I mean, I don't see what the problem with this gentleman is. Just can I carry on? Caste discrimination isolates people. It creates an inferiority complex in people. It deprives people of dignity and self-respect. Caste abuse humiliates, degrades, segregates, demonizes, dehumanizes people. It's a social evil. And people who still believe in this social evil, I'm sorry to say that they have to change their mindset. They have to liberate their mind from this social evil. We all have the same DNA. Across the world, we are all 100% human. Thank you.
See, first thing is we all say the same thing. We all if you believe in God, I believe in God, my faith says we are all from the same source. We are all the same children of the same God. In the very initially I said castes should be completely wiped out. There is no difference of opinion here at all. Only addressing that, how we do it, that is the thing. We oppose the legislation for some reasons. One is, the more you discuss, the more you indulge in the caste discussion, we are in fact doing a disservice to our own campaign. More and more youngsters will come to know about the caste. There's a possibility of it, and if these literature disseminates into the society, into the school, at present, in my personal perception, the vast majority of Hindus living in UK, among the youngsters, they are not aware of caste. So attempting to, and about legislation, I already said it is not, trying to use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. That's what our perception about enacting a law.
Well, we're talking about education because I think that's the key, isn't it? I mean, Davinder, you told me earlier that the reason you started Caste Watch is because you were shocked that a 6-year-old boy came home and said, "Oh yeah, what caste are we, Mom? What caste are we?" So that is really still important, and it's being taught in schools to look at the caste system and even respect the caste system when it's not really got any relevance in our lives today, but it has.
Can I just answer one of the points that Mr. Swaminathan has raised? You just mentioned that by introducing legislation, you will make people aware of caste system. Do you know that caste system is being taught in schools, and every child in this country is already aware of caste discrimination? I mean, I don't know whether you have, are you in touch with the grassroots and what's happening with the British society or not? The reality is, caste is a serious problem, and I can give you a case, very recent case, a couple of weeks ago. One of our members of Caste Watch UK made me aware that a 6-year-old child comes home and asks his father, "Daddy, what is my caste?" And he said, "My God, you're a 6-year-old, what the hell are you talking about? Where have you learned this from?" And then it was disclosed that one of the colleagues of that 6-year-old child was asking this young child what your caste is. This is what the situation is on the ground. So your fear that by introducing legislation, people will find out about caste, I tell you, that is baseless, because everybody knows about caste. What we need to tell people. What we need to tell the government that caste system, and caste identities in this country are no longer required, and the time has come that through legislative changes they have to make sure that schools are actually taught that caste discrimination is bad, not acceptable. That's one thing. And then, like you said earlier, caste system is being discussed in schools, from the age of 6 onwards. It then develops into universities. Go to any universities, you will find that you got groups of young children, Hindu Brahmins of Samaj and Jet Society and all these things. There are serious issues in universities, serious issues, serious bullying going on in schools. And it has become a very serious problem. I think time has come when we need to stop going into denial. We have to face the problem head on, accept there is a problem. If you want to solve the problem, first step is to admit there is one. Unless you admit it is a problem, you will never be able to solve it.
You said smashing a nut with a sledgehammer. I think you're the only nut here if you think it doesn't exist.
Something recent that happened in 2009 in Vienna, in Austria. There was a visiting Indian preacher who was assassinated. Since then, on the social media, on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, there's been an explosion of exchanges.
To try and understand where the Jat songs came from, it would also be an interesting line of inquiry, because in the Hindu scheme of things, you just mentioned Jats were supposed to be the Shudras.
Me Jat, you Chura. And he said to me, I go expect.
If you asked someone, what is your caste, what does it mean, I think they'd be a bit stumped. Your parents have told you, or they've taught you that, or your friends have taught you that. And that comes from parents. So there's a generation of parents who should be ashamed of themselves because they've taught their children that.
In the street where we meet, sound system are rocking the beat. Dance around, link our town. We come to give you international sound. Worldwide, and we don't come here for hide. Bring the people side by side. Show the peace, beat down war. Everybody have his bar. In the street where we meet, sound system are rocking the beat. Dance around, link our town. We come to give you international sound. Worldwide, and we don't come here for hide. Bring the people side by side. Show the peace, beat down war. Everybody have his bar.